to math. Today we are on lesson 12. We are actually almost done with this whole module in module 3. So there's only 13 lessons in this one, guys. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get started and look and see what we're going to do today. Today on lesson 12, I can ask and answer varied word problem types about a data set with 3 categories. Okay, so that sounds really confusing, but it's not. Okay, so basically what it's going to do is you're going to have a data table with 3 choices like we've been doing, and you're going to be able to ask questions about it and answer questions about it. And what it means in word problem types is just it's going to ask us questions like it would in a word problem. We do those every day. Okay, so this isn't anything new. So speaking of, let's go ahead and just get our brains warmed up and do our application problem. So hang with me as I slide down. Ready? Oop, too far. All right, so let's look at our application problem. If you do not have your whiteboard or something to write on, get it. Pause this video. Get it ready because we're going to do this. Okay, so pause for a second, get what you need, and let's get started. Okay, so I'm not going to put the hat on today because my hair's up and it's not going to, but we can still be detectives without the hat. So let's be good detectives first by reading the entire problem. Okay, we'll then find out what we need to do in order to solve, and then we can go back and look for clues. Okay, here we go. Read with me. Keaton's class took a trip to the zoo. He collected data about his favorite African animals. He saw 2 lions, 11 gorillas, and 7 zebras. What might his table look like? Write one question that your classmates can answer by looking at the table. Okay, I saw 2 things it wants us to do. It wants us to answer the question, what might his table look like? And we have to write one question our classmates can answer by looking at the table we create. Okay, now on your board, you're going to create a table, but on my screen, I don't have a whole lot of room, so I write it on my board too, okay? So let's look for our clues real quick. Ooh, hold on, there we go. Let's look for our clues real quick. Kingston's class took a trip to the zoo. Doesn't really tell me a whole lot other than they went to the zoo. He collected data about his favorite African animals. Okay, now that tells me that we're looking at favorite African animals. Now that can be our title. He saw 2 lions, 11 gorillas, and 7 zebras. 2 lions, 11 gorillas, and 7 zebras are our data, okay? So I'm gonna stop sharing just for a second so you can see my board. I'll zoom in on my board a little bit better. Let's turn this back on. There we go. And we're gonna draw a data table, okay? So remember, I have to have a title. So favorite African. I'm going to run out of room, so I'm going to write it in here. Animal. Now, what were my choices that I was given? We had lion. Let me go back and look at this again. Hold on just a second, friends. Oh, we had gorillas. And the last one we had was a zebra. Now, here's what my table is going to look like. I'll go ahead and make that a box. That there. Now let's go back and make some tally marks for each animal that we knew. How many did they say they had a lion? 2. I'm gonna put 2 out here. 2 tally marks. How many for gorilla and how many for zebra? Do we need to go back and look? Let's go back and look. We had 11 for the gorilla and 7 for our zebra. So let's make 11 tally marks, okay? Remember, when we make tally marks, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, okay? So let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now let's do our 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Now we have what our animal chart or table, data table would look like. Now we need to come up with a question that we can ask our classmates using this chart or this table. So what kind of question could I come up with to make that goes along with this chart? You are probably coming up with lots of different answers. You might say, like gorillas the most? How many people like lions? How many people like gorillas and zebras? Who had the most likes? Who had the least amount of likes? You can come up with any question at all. I'm going to ask this one. How many people voted? So how many people voted for their favorite animal? How could I solve that? I have to look at how many people voted for lion, gorilla, and zebra, and I have to add them all together. So I would have to say 2 plus 11 plus 7. And I would have to solve that. So let's do this. Let's see. I know that 11 is a 10 and a 1. 1 and 7 makes 8 plus 10. That's 18. So 18 plus 2. I can say 18, 19, 20. So 20 people voted in our zoo animal. Okay, so now you can come up with your own question. It doesn't have to be like mine. And your table, though, is going to look like mine. Okay, so let's go back and share and see if we answered everything we needed to. Did we determine what it might look like if we made a data table? Yeah, here's our data table. And were we able to come up with a question that our classmates could answer by looking at our table? We did, right down here at the bottom, and I even solved it for us, didn't I? Now your question might be different. So did we our case for this one? Yeah, we sure did. And now we're ready to erase our boards. So go ahead and erase your board and let us get ready for our video lesson today with I believe it's Miss Duckett. I'm gonna pause for a second to get us ready and then we'll start. Okay, so if you have your whiteboard or something to write on, keep it with you because we're probably gonna need it again. If I need to, I'll use my board again and just stop sharing at certain points so you can see it a little better, okay? So let's get started.
Mathematicians,
It's Miss Duckett
here, ready to guide you through another math lesson. Today, we are going to be asking and answering word problems about a data set. If you're ready, let me hear you say, ooh, oh yeah, I'm ready.
Ooh, oh yeah, I'm ready.
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's get started. Touch your nose if you like to eat fruits.
I like to eat fruits.
I love to eat fruits. I usually eat fruits every morning before I eat an actual meal. Well, I want to know, what is your favorite fruit? I'm going to show you 3 different types of fruit, and I want you to press the button that shows your favorite fruit.
Okay.
Now, I know that I might show you 3 different fruits that you actually don't like, but there's so many different kinds of fruits out there. So I just chose 3 for now, and you can just go ahead and choose one of those 3. Okay.
Okay.
So, do you like watermelon, blueberries, or grapes? Which one of these fruits are your favorite?
That's a hard
Go
choice.
ahead and point to the button that matches the fruit that's your favorite. Well, I love grapes. Sometimes I like to put my grapes in the freezer and then eat them. It tastes just like candy. You should try it one day. Well, I'm going to place a sticky note to show that I like fruits. And I'm going to make sure I put it right at the edge of the line by the grapes, like this.
Kind of like she's lining up the endpoint.
Well, this class also voted on which fruit is their favorite. Take a moment to look to see what the students voted for.
See, grapes, blueberries, and watermelon.
What the teacher's favorite fruit is?
Ooh, I wonder what his favorite fruit is.
Me too. On the count of 3, let's say, what's your favorite fruit? Get ready.
Here we go.
1, 2, 3.
What's your favorite fruit?
Hey, he
He
likes
likes
grapes too. Well, I need your help counting to see how many people in this classroom like each fruit. Let's start off with grapes.
Okay.
How many people in this classroom likes grapes? Take a second to count.
Let's count. 1, 2,
So,
3.
how many people like grapes?
3 people like grapes.
You got it. 3 people like grapes. Watch how I place them on my table, making sure that I put each sticky note right beneath each other, leaving no gaps and no overlaps. No gaps and no overlaps. That sounds so familiar. Where have we used that rule before?
When we were measuring things.
Bada boom, bada bing, you got it. That's right. We use that same rule in measurement. Okay, here I go. 1, 2, 3. Great. Let's do the same thing for blueberries. Take a second to count.
Ready?
How many people in this classroom like blueberries?
1, 2.
Go ahead and show me on your fingers. That's right. 2 people like blueberries. Let me go ahead and put that on our table. 1, 2. Great work. Now let's count to see how many people in this classroom like watermelon. How many
one.
people like watermelon?
1 person.
You got it. Only 1 person likes watermelon. Which fruit was the most popular? Popular means which one was most liked?
I think it's watermelon.
Yes, the grapes. Which fruit did people like the least?
Watermelon.
That's right, watermelon. How were you able to figure that out? Take a moment to think.
Well, I could look at the chart and see there were more
Go
sticky
ahead.
notes for the
Tell me
grapes
what
than
you're
the
thinking.
watermelon. But you may have looked at it differently. You may have counted on or something.
I think I heard some really good ideas if I read your minds correctly. I heard some people say that they just looked at the sticky notes. They knew that the longer strip of sticky notes.
Hold on, guys, just a second, please. I apologize, friends. I had somebody come in the room. So let's go ahead and get this over with. Here we go.
Was the most popular, and the shortest strip of sticky notes was the least popular. Huh, that sounds so familiar again. That reminds me of measurement. The one that uses the most units is longer and the most popular. I love math. Looking at our data, how many people like watermelon? Show me on your fingers. That's right. One person likes watermelon. How many people like blueberry? Whisper it to me.
2.
You got it. 2 people like blueberries. And how many people like grapes? Clap out the other people that like
We got ready?
grapes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 people like grapes. When we organize our data like this, it makes it simpler for us to compare. We call this a graph. What do we call it?
A graph.
That's right. We call it a graph. A graph lets us see our data easily. In this graph, we lined up our data, just like how we do when measuring different items. And now we can compare. Which received more votes? Blueberries or grapes? Point to the button that you think is correct.
I pointed to grapes.
That's right. Grapes received more votes. Did you have to use the number, or were you able to just look at the bar of sticky notes?
I could just look at the bar.
Yeah. If I was to erase this number, we can still figure out our answer just from looking at the length of the bar. And when I look at this bar, I see that it's longer. Great work, mathematicians. How many more students would blueberries need to have in order to have the same amount as grapes? Let me ask that question one more time. How many more students would blueberries need to have in order to have the same amount of grapes? Take a moment to think. Go ahead, tell me what you're thinking.
I think they would need 2 more.
That's right, 2 more students. How were you able to figure that out?
So I'm gonna pause again. I can do one of 2 things. I can look at my bar and count how many more sticky notes the grapes have than blueberries and see that there's 1, 2 more. So I knew that we'd need 2 more for blueberries. Or I could say 2 plus something equals 4. And I know that 2 plus 2 is 4.
I heard some people say that since we know that they both have at least 2 sticky notes, they counted on until they got to 4, like this. 2, 3, 4. What would a number sentence be to show how we got our answer? Go ahead and write it on your personal whiteboard.
Remember we said 2 plus something would equal 4. And we know that 2
Does
plus
your work
2
match mine?
equals 4.
It's okay if it didn't. We all make mistakes. And the best thing about mistakes is that they always help us learn. Take a moment now to go ahead and correct your work if you need to. Awesome. Let's ask a few more questions. Now I want to know how many people like watermelon, blueberries, and grapes all together. Again, the question is, how many people like watermelon, blueberries, and grapes all together? Go ahead and press pause and use personal whiteboards to solve this problem. Remember, you can always use linking cues as extra support. I'll be right here waiting when you get back.
Okay, so let's pause this. She wants to know how many people like watermelon, blueberries, and grapes all together. So let's see, how could we write that? Let's do a math sentence. Let me erase this part here first. Okay, so I have watermelon plus blueberry plus grapes equals. What can I do? I could say 1 plus 2 makes 3, and 3 plus 4 equals 7. Did you do it that way, or did you do it a different way? Could you count all the sticky notes on here to solve? Yeah, you could.
Welcome back. So, how many people like watermelon, blueberries, and grapes?
We
all
said
together?
7. Let's count the sticky notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7.
Bada boom, bada bang, you got it. That's right, 7 people. Go ahead and write a number sentence on your personal whiteboard.
We
Show
already
me
did that.
how you got this answer.
That's how we got, well, that's how I got mine. You may have done it differently.
4 plus 1 plus 2 equals something. First, I knew that 4 plus 1 equals 5. And then, as a mathematician, I already know that 5 and 2 more equals 7. You may have written a different number sentence, and that's okay. No matter the order, we will still get an answer of 7. Excellent work, mathematicians. Well, mathematicians, now it's time for the problem set. Your must-do problems are 5, 6, and 7. Remember to work hard for 10 minutes. Here's a cheer for all of your hard work. It's called the Fantastic Cheer. It goes like this. Fantastic. I'll see you next time.
Bye, Miss Duckett. Okay, friends, let's go to our problem set. Oh, I hope I click on the right thing. All right, so she wants us to do 5, 6, and 7. So you have these on yours, but we're not doing those. We're going to do this one right here, 5, 6, and 7. Each student in the class added a sticky note to show his or her favorite kind of pet. Use the table to answer the questions. So here's our table. It's already got the sticky notes on it. Okay, so here's what I want us to do first before we answer the questions. Let's count and write how many are in each of the rows. Okay, so let's start with dogs. Let's count and see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 for dogs. So I'm going to write 9 right here. That way I know there's 9. Let's count fish. 1, 2, 3, 4. That one was a little easier, huh? 4 fish. And now we got to count cats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. There are 6 cats. Okay. Now we can go and look and answer our questions. How many students chose dogs or cats as their favorite pet? Now, I don't want to know one or the other. I want to know how many chose both of them, okay, dogs or cats. So we'd have to add those two together to figure out dogs or cats. You need to look for dogs and cats and add them up. How many more students chose dogs as their favorite pets than cats? How many more dogs are there than cats, okay? And how many more students chose cats than fish? Again, you're going to look and see how many more people chose a cat than a fish, okay? And you're going to answer those 3 questions. All right, when you're done, make sure you answer your exit ticket. Make sure you turn them all into me, and I will see you guys on our last lesson for Module 3 for Lesson 13. Bye, friends.